So, yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Let's see who do we have on.
Yeah, it states we're live, so I think we're online. Right there. So hello, everybody. And I'm going to let Monica do the introduction because it's Monica talks, so she talks.
Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new CISO live series, which is, by the way, not just for CISOs, just to get it out right there. We decided to actually do this series to talk a bit about the real world challenges that we have seen in the cybersecurity industry, whether it's with regards to breaking into cybersecurity, whether it's with regards to understanding what different domains exist, whether it's with regards to business challenges, whether it's regards to switching domains, getting into leadership, into a CISO role, or if you're already a CISO, what does that actually entail, and so on. So we were thinking of like doing something fun, and you all probably know that I have this podcast show where I already talk to people and try to bring a lot of information to the community, but I wanted to do something different where you all could be a part of it. So we thought, okay, why not every other week on Wednesdays, let's just go out on YouTube, do a live series, talk to people. And in today's episode specifically, we would really like everybody to just type in, and as we go on, put in your comments, your challenges, just the words that you feel you want to share, the challenges you want to share. And based on, we will talk today a bit about obviously our challenges and opportunities as well. And based on your input, then we will pick in the coming episodes one or two challenges every episode, and we will talk about them. We'll talk about our experiences, we'll talk about the tips. We'll also like to hear from you. So this is what this whole CISO series live is about, but it's not just for CISOs. So welcome to the channel, everyone.
Yeah, welcome, everybody. And as Monica said, we are going to cover our real facts, things of our work and life and how we land in there and what are the challenges that we see and all this real stuff. It's not selling or anything. It's just about sharing our experience and answering your question and background, because we see many people asking us for how do I get in security, what job, what should I do, and that kind of stuff. And I think this is a great idea that Monica and I brought together on that, about bringing that live feedback of our CISO life in a way.
Yes, and before we get in, let's actually also introduce ourselves. So we can introduce ourselves, and everybody that's joining us, please just say hi. I want to say hi to everyone, and I will say a bit about myself. Just please leave your comments and say hi. So we know that you all are here and you're listening and you're engaging, and you don't have to write anything else, just hi. So wherever you guys are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know. I hope everybody's joining in from different time zones. I'm Monica Verma. Hopefully, a lot of you already know me from LinkedIn. That's where my biggest community is, and I love my community. I started as my journey as an ethical hacker in Germany. That's where I started. I worked as a hacker for 5-6 years, like full on penetration testing, hacking, and all these aspects that were connected to it, and risk management, a part of it as well. And we can get into that later. And then today I work as a CISO. And I've worked in different domains within cybersecurity. I've worked with identity and access management. I've worked with risk management. Hey, Henry, lovely to have you today on the live show. I worked with cloud security. I led cloud security as well. And in previous roles, I've also worked as head of security, risk, and business continuity. And today I'm helping a lot of people and the organizations with. So my job obviously is to help organizations be more effective in terms of overall cybersecurity, information security. But I have a lot of these nonprofit initiatives, my podcast show, and my community on LinkedIn that I love to spread information, knowledge, failures. Don't get me wrong, I have not always been perfect, and I'm still not perfect. So that's absolutely fine. And we'll talk about the challenges. So that's a little bit about me. So yes, I'm from Germany. I'm living in Norway today. Hello, everybody.
And hello, it's gonna be on my side now. Same thing, biggest community on LinkedIn as well. You know me, the cloud renting guy, but also cybersecurity focused. And I like, what make us and bring us together with Monica is the fact that we like to share awareness. We like to share information and bring actionable information and light, about our experience, about best practices, about what we see. I got to my background. I started I have a more than 20-year background, IT operation, OT stuff, and I was heading IT and security services, and officially moved to kind of CISO role in the last couple of years, although security was part of the things. I mean, when we think about that, end of the 90s, which is when I kind of started that work, security was IT stuff. It was just firewall, network control and stuff. So we grew with that field, and it evolved quite a lot lately. So we see more and more different profile in that field, like from technical standpoint, but also less technical, because nowadays it's very, very wide. And this is what we're going to bring, Monica, on that side.
We will talk today. Absolutely. And one of the things I want to share with the audience before we hop right in is that the reason I wanted to partner up with Alex on this one is because if you have seen some of his rants on LinkedIn and also my rants on LinkedIn, we do not agree on absolutely everything. And I think that's what's really key. If we want to move forward together in industry, we don't have to always agree with each other. We really need to challenge each other's thoughts. And that's why I thought it was fantastic to partner up with someone who doesn't agree with me always either. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we agree to disagree. And,
yes.
One of my switch in my career came from the fact that everybody was agreeing with me. I was in a position where no one would challenge me ever. And I was actually flying blind, because you need people to challenge you. Otherwise, you never know. And you can head up in the big mistakes if no one is there to challenge you. So I really like that dynamic, because this is how we learn. So yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Hi, DJ51NGH. Not sure what's your name, but hello, everyone. Please, if you're joining in, just drop a hello, drop a hi. We would really like that. And so let's hop right into the episode right after this. Okay, so today's episode, what are we going to talk about? Hi, D-Autonomy. Hi, DJ Singh. Hi, everybody. Today, we were thinking of talking about some of the security challenges that we have experienced in the last decade or more in the industry that we have been, obviously, in cybersecurity. And one of the things that I wanted to just start with, and as I said, today's episode is all about just brainstorming together with you guys. Okay, it's not a specific topic today, but we will have that in the coming episodes. Today is just brainstorming. We'll put out some of the biggest challenges that we have seen. We want to hear from you. What are the challenges that you have seen, or do you want us to talk about in the upcoming episodes? So I'll keep you reminding about that. Hello, Anna. Hello, Poseidon Waters. So today I wanted to just start about one thing. I hear and experience myself as well. There's a lot of elitism within cybersecurity. There's a lot of this difference of opinion. Some people say there is elitism. Some people say there is no elitism. Some people are like, yeah, but you can't just come into the industry if you don't know anything. And is that really a reality? And my experience has been, yes, I believe there is elitism, because I've seen people compare our jobs to that of doctors and first responders. And sure, it's important, but you don't need to be a technically trained person and very skilled as you might need to be a surgeon, versus if you're actually coming into the industry. I believe that comparison is really unfair. So I believe we're just missing out a lot of talent just because we have this very strange expectations and unrealistic expectations and a lot of this elitism. What do you think, Alex, about that?
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, this is a point we discussed about, the leadership challenge in the cybersecurity industry. And one thing is that we see people looking for jobs that are very technical, and we see people that do not find jobs, and we see job position open that do not find the response. And that's matching what you said, because after all, the expectation of both side, business side and specialists, if we can call us and them, is not actually matching, because they do not speak the same language. They mean to say the same thing, but they do not share the same language, because one comes from the business perspective side and risk management and very admin controls kind of, and the other side is coming from IT, networking, deep technical stuff we used to rack servers and stuff. Now it's cloud based, but it doesn't change much. And the fact is that we have hands-on people that want to deliver practical answers to people that have a governance goal. But the fun thing is that it's working together. And, we speak about cybersecurity, people, process, technology, it works together. We have admin control, technical controls. So you're very right about the elitism. And I think it's both sides of things. Somehow I see elitism on the certification side, because business asks for huge certification. But when we see, and I'm not a hugely certified person as well, yet I have a strong background. And I realized that it's just about placing the right wording on the discussion. And finally, we need some kind of a meeting up maybe between specialists and the organization need to raise the actual culture of cybersecurity in organizations. I know what's your take on that, but
I mean, but that's a very valid point that you bring in, and there's a lot of discussions that happen in our industry about certifications, about degrees, and obviously when you have these different roles, and when you look at the job descriptions, then you see the requirement for bachelor's, master's with certifications, and then 5 to 7 years of experience for entry-level positions or even more. I think the problem is that, I mean, just to be honest and very outright there, when I started working as a hacker, I had zero real world hacking experience before I actually got the job. And how do you even expect that to happen? And especially with the field changing so much, I get that we want our talent to be skilled, we want them to be trained, but that's our job as organizations. That's our job as an organization to ensure that we can bring in the talent into our industry and have a training program for them, and then giving them the opportunity. And then obviously if you have certain people that year after year after year and they don't have the passion and the curiosity and the will to learn, and then you believe, okay, you want to get rid of them, or they're better suited for some other role, that makes sense. But then having this kind of expectation and hiring people without actually having any growth or training in place is definitely where the biggest struggle lies. And we will talk a lot about that as well in the coming episodes of what certifications if one needs. Because yes, there are certain roles that do require certifications. I won't say that they are like, I think we need to have less and less certifications as requirements, but there is no doubt on the other side of the sword is that organizations do ask for that. So if you do end up having certifications on your CV, that helps you at least to get that first interview and to get that knock on the door. Let's welcome, there are more people joining here. There is Amani, there is John, there is Clarence. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream today. And we would really love to hear from you guys if you have any topics or any challenges that you face or that you just want us to talk about in the coming episodes. Today, we're doing mostly just brainstorming and talking about a lot of opportunities and challenges, but we will be more specific and going and addressing each and every challenge in the coming episode. So please, if you have any topics that you would like us to address, drop them in the comment. Do not be shy, and we will take them in the episodes to come. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think, and you start to raise about that topic, get a question on that side, what will be one's prerequisite to that you believe is necessary to be an effective CISO, and at the same time, what will be an effective CISO nowadays? Because there's a cliche now. It's like if there's an incident in an organization, they usually fire the CISO person, and I think I'm against that, because it's not a one-man job or one-woman job. And so, what would be your take? What make you a good CISO? How can you be effective? And you started on that. It's about motivation, curiosity. But I mean, how do you make it happen? I can share my stake of it after, but eager to listen on your side.
Sure, absolutely. I think one of the for people that for everybody that's joining us today, if you want to move, if you're already a CISO, if you want to move into a CISO position at some point, or if you're interested in understanding about the leadership in cybersecurity, the biggest problem that we have is there's this constant debate of what does the role of a CISO actually entail. And if you look, and if you just go out there and Google right now, types of CISO, you will have 100 different articles saying there is 10 types of CISOs, there is 6 types of CISOs, there is 100 types of CISOs, there is 11 types of CISO, and so on. And I just want to say one thing: there's only one type of CISO, and that's it. A CISO's, if you have like a technical CISO or a different other kind of CISO, then you're basically having a glorified security engineer with maybe a CISO title. But a CISO's role is basically to ensure that the entire aspect of cybersecurity is fitting together. It's to ensure that security is actually becoming everybody's responsibility. An effective CISO doesn't do everything. An effective CISO is not owning the risks. An effective CISO is not about fixing everything operationally. And if I don't know if you all guys know, and this is independent of which role you come from, which role you work in. In cybersecurity, there is this 3 lines of defense model that we talk about, and then you have the first line, the second line, and the third line. And a CISO usually effectively would sit in the second line to ensure that you have the right premises for cybersecurity. And that's where, I mean, there's a lot I can talk about what an effective CISO is, but I think it starts with the mindset and understanding that there is only one type of CISO.
I really love the point you raised about the risk owner. The business owns the risk, and as a CISO,
Absolutely.
we're an advisor. We are, we can do a risk register and identify all the risk according to the business vertical. What's the threat according to that? But then we give that information to business management, to the board, and they decide whether it's worth addressing or not. One of the mistakes that people think from time to time is that we must fix and patch everything. And I've been in that path, trust me, because I came from a technical operation and I was trying to patch each and every vulnerability that we would find. But fact is that you need to scope your attack surface, or what is the key stuff for the business, and only management and the board is able to drive that. So after all, CISO is kind of the communication point between operation, infrastructure, and the business strategical decision. So we are translating, these things as impact. And when you speak about that, it is very right if you're a technical person, because you can speak deeply with the infrastructure stuff, but it's not the key role of it. You can be a CISO.
No, absolutely not.
Without that, because it's a yeah, go ahead.
And one of the things actually I've noticed is that what helped me in becoming more effective as CISO is actually removing that technical hat. Because I come from a technical background as well, and you kind of have to put that hat away to be able to have, you cannot have so many hats at the same time. And you're not effective if you're trying to be both technical and non-technical at the same time. So you kind of have to remove that hat. I see also that there is somebody who says, yeah, that's Robert. He's saying that I think there's misunderstanding regarding the blanket from elitism. It's more about the organization's HR process is still applying 20-year-old hiring practices to cyber and the other roles. Absolutely. And that's what's happening. I mean, we are not revamping our hiring processes, remodeling to today's needs. We aren't doing that. That's absolutely correct. That's one of the problems. And having a training program, for example, as a part of it is important, right? So the issue is also that cybersecurity, as you mentioned as well, Alex, has changed over the last 20 years from networks and stacks to a very broad field today, where you have auditing, where you have GRC, where you have architecture, but where you also have threat intelligence, where you have so many different roles, engineering, social engineering and phishing, and all these kind of roles that don't require very, very technical competency. And then, but we are not changing our processes for hiring and retaining and training. So definitely, this is definitely a big challenge. Very good point, Robert. Thank you for that.
Yeah, after all, we are kind of project managers, or oriented on security, on the compliance, on GRC, governance, compliance, risk. And fact is that I've been, working with some government entities, and they require their cybersecurity management to be project manager. And fact is, and this is something, the approach, top down and bottom up, that the two approach to implement a security culture or any project means that you need sponsor. And your first sponsor when you want to implement anything is the management side of things, because that's leading me to the next question I had for you. It's about budgeting, which is one thing. We cannot do anything if we do not have a budget. Doesn't mean that we're gonna stack and pile up blinky shiny equipment with the latest technology. It means that we need to organize and develop that culture. So about that, is budgeting still a challenge? Because we see all these events and we may think that organizations are throwing any money as you like, as much as we see the incident happening. Is that the reality? And how you get the budget for your cybersecurity program?
Yeah, I mean, there is no doubt that when there is a cyber breach that happens for any organization, then suddenly the budget is available. I mean, that you have already seen, that we see as a very big practice that happens all the time. But I think it's also a lot about, it's not really about how much budget you get, but more so much as the understanding that, first of all, I think we as security professionals have to understand that security by itself is not the goal. So it's never really the goal by itself. This is the hard truth. This is a hard fact. Businesses don't care about security, but they do care about security that enables them to do what they really need to do. Whatever their vision, mission, purpose is with their business, with their organization, whatever that is. So if we actually can be honest and understand that security is and never really be a goal in itself, then it's easier to actually defend what you need the budget for, why do you need it, what will be that used for. I mean, the point is to have the right talent. It's not even to just buy boxes. I mean, the tool and the technology itself cannot do things. I mean, if there's so much talk about EDRs and MDRs and XDRs and all these new tools, and Gartner comes up with the magic quadrant all the time, and people just start throwing money at the tools, and that doesn't help in itself either. So I think thinking about the best way to ask for budget, and also to have for the resources that you are putting in the different aspects of security. The budgeting is not just about what you need, but also what every other person, the security champions within the organization, the security culture, the trainings, the growth and the development, everything goes into it. That is all need to be taken into account. And I think that's where we're missing the biggest part of where the budgeting has to come from, or what does it have to come for? What do we need the budgeting for? It's not really just about buying new tools and fancy toys and stuff.
It's an interesting point, and also it changed depending on the business size as well. Because if you have a big organization and it's large enough that you have business unit and you need to work on the inventory and identify what need to be protected, because this is what we bring. We bring mitigation, and we try to reduce any impact of incidents, so we protect the business. But speaking about tools, and just because we don't have to agree on everything, I speak a lot to SMBs, but more on the small side of things. And when these guys, they have no idea about even technology itself, and sometimes they use it, but they did not have dedicated resources. So yes, to this organization, I place an XDR, which is a managed tool on all their assets, because sometimes it's the only control that is applicable to them. Because
very fair point.
Yeah, it's just because I've been working as you are on permanent CISO position in an organization, which is something when you build the security program and you get the sponsor of the board. And lately, my work is more on an external consultant kind of things. So for sure, I do target the best practices, ISO 27001 controls, we scope the whole thing, etc. But in the end, sometimes, and most of the time, it seems, we have to be very practical on the solution. So yes, we do expose the risk, and we come with a quantitative risk presentation and qualitative. Quantitative basically is the impact, how much is going to cost the impact, and the qualitative is what is going to happen with that impact. So we try to explain that to people that have zero knowledge on technology and security. And then we say, okay, what can we do for you? And then they come, okay, if you place this security control, not the best, but today it's the best bang for the bucks that you can have, for sure. Then we fall to the best practices. Ideally, we do it together. But from a practical standpoint, if the culture is not there, it's quite challenging. So they want to buy something. And,
right.
Yeah.
And I think it really depends on, and you're absolutely right, because one thing is there is no silver bullet, and there is no one size fits all, right? Bigger organizations have different needs, and SMBs have very different needs. And having the understanding of what the organization is really struggling with. And what you say is really the right point here. The point is not whether it's the answer, is the answer a box, is the answer more people, is the answer the culture. The point is just that what is the organization struggling with really the most, and what would give you the most outcome, the best lift in the maturity with the least input, with the least resources, with the least money. So what you can get like these low hanging fruits, or what you can get the quickest and fastest result, to do that first and then go into a journey of maturity over time. So one thing that I tell everybody, it depends on which role they come from, whether you're a security engineer, then that really applies to every role that I've worked in. Whether you're analyst, whether you're engineer, whether you're an architect, whether you are working with social engineering, try to always do things in phases, because we will never build 100% security. We are never going to be done with the jobs anyway.
No.
So what's important is that you just take that first step and build something. It doesn't have to be perfect, and then mature it over time. That's much better than trying to reach the skies and be like, okay, I'm going to fix this entirely, fully, completely right now. And that's where the problem is, because we are seeing how cyber criminals are, it's become like a whole business for them. The cybercrime is just exploding, really, right? So we kind of need to have this approach. And that's also one thing that I really fully disagree with a lot of people, and just have to say this right now. And I really want to hear people's comment on this. So everybody who's joining, I would really like you to guys to comment on this. Is cybersecurity a zero sum game? I, so just to explain what is zero sum game, I think everybody of you knows it, right? What is zero sum game? But just to say it, it's like between, let's say, between Alex and me, for me to win, Alex needs to lose, and for Alex to win, I need to lose. So if I win and he loses, then total win is zero, and if he wins and I lose, then total win is zero, right? So that's zero sum game. And I think the problem is that we and the society and the well, society, I'm thinking I'm taking it too broad, but cybersecurity community is, so I see so many posts that talk about um, we cannot win until cyber criminals have lost. And that, I believe, is absolutely the wrong way to think about it. That makes cybersecurity a zero sum game. And I believe that's not how we will win. We have to obviously defend, we have to obviously get better. But cybercrime will never be zero. And just because it will never be zero doesn't mean that we will not win. I think that's where the problem is. And I want to hear everybody that's online. What are your thoughts on it? Is cybersecurity zero sum game? Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, you're very right on that. It's an actual continuous learning and fight, and it goes together with the learning curve in building your career in security. It's exactly the same as fighting the threat landscape. It's a daily task. We learn every day. I do learn every day on that field. I learn from humans. I learn from technology, and we learn from criminal as well. That's my sharing. And I can be blamed a little bit for we lose against criminal sharing, because I sometimes say, yeah, criminal are so efficient nowadays. And fact is that criminal have no boundaries, no restriction, no compliance requirements, so they can move fast. But it doesn't mean that we lose. You are very right in that. It's not loss and win. It's about risk management and moving on. The only losers are the one who actually stay static. If you don't move, it's a loss. So
absolutely. And I mean, we want to detect, we want to be early on detection, we want to be early on crisis management, we want to do all that. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we have to not defend against cyber criminals. Obviously we have to, but having the mentality of that they need to lose 100% of the time for us to win, that will never happen. I just want to say hello to the people who have joined now. It's hi Victor, hi Henry, who was there, hi John, there was somebody else as well, hi Douglas. Fantastic. Welcome to the live event today. And just so people who have just joined, just so you guys know, put in your comments. We would really love. And if you have some challenges that you see, then we will talk about them. We'll pick them up for the next episodes.
Yeah. I wanted to add that it's exciting to see more initiative on awareness, and that we see more in the mainstream media some good stuff as well. Because we've seen, all the bad news, But we also see now stuff like how can you protect yourself, what's the good behavior, how to handle such event or incident. So that's kind of a positive thing, that it become part of the society culture overall, because we're now a digital technology. We have been pushed on steroid with the COVID stuff. Like everybody now is fully connected on tech, and I'm against to blame on connected equal hacked stuff. But thing is, I do that because I want people to be, their own risk manager. And I think one part, you may disagree on that, but if you want to work in the cybersecurity field, we are our own risk decision maker, and we teach ourselves to be risk assessor. So we assess the risk and we take decision. And if we try to bring that state of mind in the organization, handle the risk, mitigate or accept it. It's fine. We can accept it as well. We do not have to just try to fight everything. And then if you have that state of mind, you can work in cybersecurity field at any level. It could be administrative, because I think, handling awareness session training, you do not have to be technical. It's about spreading awareness on the organization. And that's a big win when you do that. You can be your own security lead, the security hero of a department. If you are a developer in a team and you are the one with curiosity, as Monica was saying, and you are aware of this threat, and basically you speak to your coworkers about best practices, code review, that kind of stuff, and you bring that kind of culture, you bring a huge step into that. And chances are that you will eventually climb to kind of a cybersecurity leader in a way in that field, and then it will grow as your curiosity grow, and then you are in. You are in because you made that step. You do not have to rush after a title. I mean, my first title was director of IT, but then I was doing security too. So at some point I had a title, but it didn't change much on my job. It was just more focused on that side. So back to the topic, how can you work and can you spread the securities? Be the people who bring the solution, be part of the solution, kind of.
And I want to actually put in there's some really fantastic comments coming in. Amazing, you guys, really, I love it. And I just want to bring some up, like this one from John that says, I think a big challenge is quality of training available, which is greatly fueling elitism in the whole cybersecurity landscape. It is absolutely correct, because and just to tell basically a story about how I got into this industry. I did bachelor's and I did master's in computer science. And in my master's, I studied like hardcore cryptography. Okay, really like hardcore cryptography with random oracle models and all these things. But that gave me absolutely zero understanding of what was happening in the industry. And I had this whole drive to be a part of cybersecurity industry. And I did not know really what to do. There were no courses. There was nothing. And consider it as luck, but I also feel like luck happens to you when you are actually doing things and when you're putting your action in. So I somehow contacted Jeremiah Grossman, who is, everybody knows who Jeremiah Grossman is one of the most fantastic people in this in our industry. And I was that time, how old was it? Like 18, 20-ish, finishing my master's and about to finish my master's and graduate and do go into the industry. And I asked him, because I knew him as, he was that time like this big shot web application expert guy who was just finding holes in every web application that exists on the planet. And somehow he agreed. We had never met, by the way, that time. He didn't know who the hell I was. And he agreed to be my external supervisor. And then I somehow convinced my cryptography professor, who had zero idea about what web application security is, for me to write a master thesis on web application threat modeling. And I actually even got a best thesis award for that. But that doesn't matter. The reason I did that was just because I wanted like a step in to like have some understanding. And I think some of the theoretical stuff that I learned, and obviously I had no experience, but some of the theoretical stuff I learned from Jeremiah and from the industry, from reading, I put in, is then when I started to work as a secure coder, and I started joining the industry, I started going to these OWASP meetings. So actually what happened, because of my passion, because of my drive, I guess, one of the guys from OWASP actually recommended me to my first boss when I actually became a hacker. And I think it's a lot about networking, which we really miss. I mean, you need to be talented, obviously. What I think also organizations and hiring managers miss is that every at least every skill in cybersecurity can be learned. Maybe you can't definitely learn singing, like either you have a knack for it or you don't. But I don't think security is like that. I mean, you can really learn the skills over time. So we really need to give people better training. And coming back to the point that John made, that we don't have good quality training. Organizations are really not putting that amount of investment into people. And if we did, then we would realize that this whole talent shortage or gap that exists actually does not really exist. I mean, it has happened because we started with a very narrow field in networks and stacks, and now we have a very broad field. And then one of the guys actually made this comment, which was here, I have to look for it, which was also fantastic, that the whole hiring process has not changed over time at all. So that was this one, yes, from Robert, where he says that it's more about the organization HR process still applying 20-year-old hiring practices to cyber and other roles. And that's really what's happening. That's the big problem we have today.
Yeah. This is very true, and I've been going through that when I was hiring my teams, and I was looking for sure on the technical side of things, but there is the behavior, the willingness to do things and to learn, the curiosity, as you said, because as you said very well, technical skills. You can learn, you can read about that. The wording, the context, but people need to be motivated. They have to do their part, because you cannot expect to be mentored if you apply to a position. The organization might support you in your training experience, but you need to do the first step. So if you do nothing, nothing will happen to you. You have to take the steps. And on my side, I was lacking the wording, the official wording. What you learn in the CompTIA Security Plus and the CISSP trainings. I did these trainings on LinkedIn Learning, and I took them because I wanted to know what's in there. Fact is, it was really far from my realm. I got it, why and how, and it did teach me how to address the thing from a business standpoint, but it's not at all practical security. It's more like project management style, wording, vocabulary stuff, and that anyone can go and learn that stuff. Even take the trial on LinkedIn. You go through the process. Like, I allow you like a couple of days or evenings, go through that stuff, and you will have that knowledge. Then if you did that stuff, you will be able to match any interview, because you will know the expectation on the business side of things. So yeah, I don't think it's elitism. And yes, some will ask, I've been rejected because I didn't have my CISSP. I don't have it yet. I have an ISO certification, but I do not have CISSP. And then, you know what? I was like, okay, if your only hiring process is based on one certification only,
Yeah.
you are not
Probably
the
you
company I
don't
want
want
to
that
work
job at
for.
all. Yeah,
Nope,
exactly.
nope,
You don't
nope.
want that. And to be honest, the whole point about this CISP being, I mean, I started actually studying for CISP, and a lot of the details there is just so theoretical and doesn't apply, that I decided to actually never give that exam. I want to actually put one comment from one of the people that we have together today, and this is actually fantastic, talking back about like learning, and everyone can learn to sing, it just what quality they can reach. And I think that's really fantastic, because like you can't, that's absolutely correct. Yes, my point was more like if you can sing well or not. But yeah, absolutely, that's correct. Everybody can learn to
Yeah,
sing, and that's the whole point. And definitely everybody can learn to be and learn and gain the skills within the industry. And the point is also this, both Alex and me and everybody who has worked in the industry, we are learning every single day. We can't stop
yeah,
learning either. So I just don't understand what is this whole idea of that everybody should have. And don't get me wrong, yes, certain positions, certain roles require certain experiences, you want that, sure. But I think it's like the attitude, the drive, the curiosity should always be taking the front seat when you have candidates that are equally qualified, because you want somebody who will not only do that role. This is the thing. If you want to judge who's a good quality candidate for you, it's not only someone that is today a good fit for your role, but also will be in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. And if they decide to move away, it's no problem either. But the point is that you will have someone who wants to grow. And that's what organizations miss, and that's where also people miss. I mean, you don't want to go into a role where you're just fantastic today, but something that you can grow even tomorrow. I think that's really important.
Yes, Robert was saying be students for life. And this is very right. Technology is changing, environment is changing. Even nowadays, it's changing extremely fast. So no one can claim based on one test that is accurate. The day you got your success in your certification or test or whatever you did, it's already has been. You must be learning on the go. And on my side, I learn a lot from customer case, learn from their infrastructure, their experience, and even like people experience. So it's rising, challenging, and sometimes failure as well, which we learn from. Both and not I'm not speaking about technical side of things, but organization wide. Because and I'm sorry to fall back in that, but we have administrative controls that we can put in place, part of the culture, and that thing doesn't require to be technical. It's just about organizational, being organized, and somehow business people working in and having an MBA can actually be a good security program manager because they know how to take a project from A to Z. So that's something that can be done.
And I think
Yeah,
Victor and Robert are also saying that need to be able to translate cyber speak to broader corporate speak. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are so many jargons in our industry where we're just sometimes too proud. I don't even know if that's the right word, to not get rid of those. And I think this I believe applies to every single role within our cybersecurity industry. Whether
any
you're a
field.
pen tester, whether you're a hacker, whether you are a security engineer, whether you're an architect, whether you are um, an auditor, whether you are in governance, risk, and compliance, if you cannot speak corporate language, if you can't speak with people and understand their problem and actually speak simply and communicate effectively through simplification, then I think your job becomes harder nonetheless. A very important part that I have learned, as I said even before, is like getting into my role, I had to leave. I actually decided on purpose and I tried to leave some of the jargons and remove those hats and to be able to communicate better. And a lot of the communication, and I think your role becomes much more easier the more simplicity you have in the communication. I think that's really, really the key here.
That's very, very true. And it's something I see when I speak to, again, SMBs. It's a good learning place because if you try to speak technical or use the acronyms, they will not understand a single word of what you say. So I'm happy to know them. I'm happy because I can be aligned with people stuck in the technical side of things, so I can translate it. But at the same time, it's not the way you bring that culture on a wider range and field. So and another point, you spoke about so many job titles like security analyst and all. And if we base ourselves on the job position that are offered online and you read them, there is not the same description for each and every title. It's always something else. So the fun part is we have position, but the job attached to it is always different. So and I think there is some kind of lack of maturity on that side of things. And that means that it's not negative things. It means that you can do anything you like. You just pick one of the skills that are listed in that job stuff and make a list of what you like and bring that to the interview, because after all, when organizations try to hire someone, first of all, they all want a jack of all trades because they do not have business to
In
have. They do not
everything.
have, yeah,
In everything.
they want you to do everything because they do not have the resource to do all of that. So you should see what's happening and learn from the requirement of business what they think the job is. And then you help them when you go to the interview, you help them define that position. One of my previous job, I actually did define what is it that I'm going to do because they had no idea. They need security, but they had no idea. So I came, okay, we're going to do that, and that. Is that okay? This is what I want to do. And they did like it. So it went through. So it's, you have thankfully the power, but again, to reach that point, you have to do your homework. So you have to develop your own culture that must be aligned with the market, but then you can share and use that as a lever when you want to reach job and when you work in the company. And you will face, like Monica and myself, people who disagree on some stuff. But it's going to be a learning opportunity, and you will see that each of you and us can actually align. And sometime, even if we disagree, in the end, we realize that the gap is not that bad. It's just because we're emotional creatures, we're humans. So, I am so much against the cloud stuff, but I have to learn about it. And I learn a lot about it. And I end up recommending it for customers. But I come with a lot of safeguards. Make sure you have all these controls. Make sure you do things right. And we kind of shift a weakness into a strength. And you can do that too.
Absolutely. And one thing I can agree with you on, even though we don't agree every time on cloud stuff, is that cloud is not secure by default. That I think we completely agree on. Okay?
We agree.
Let's just put it out there. And
you know what?
I just want to touch on one point that you had about this jack of all trades.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. And just from experience, I must say this, because a lot of discussion in the industry is happening around, okay, CISO role is like you have to do everything. Okay, it's like you have to be jack of all trades. But I can tell you that's not just a CISO role. And a very, very good example, let me just give it to you. Because when I was working as a hacker, and that's more than 15 years ago, I was working both as a hacker and sometimes as a coder and as an architect and as a risk manager, and talking about, like, they were so, because the thing is, like, the problem is over the time, the roles have just increased exponentially, but we have not really defined what it is that's like really needed in these roles. And as you said, right, and one of our good things would be to actually define what is it that you think you should be doing in this role. And one of the fantastic things that have happened, by the way, in the industry, in a lot of organizations, and if that has not happened in your organization, I think it's time, is separating the CISO role and the data privacy officer role, right? Because while security and privacy have a lot of overlap, and they need to go in that overlap and have some going hand in hand, but certain aspects can be contradicting. So these roles should never be a same person ever. So let's see. We have a lot of the comments coming here about cloud. Suddenly, everybody's very, very interested.
Yeah.
Cloud is mostly insecure by default. Yes, I mean, yes,
it is.
Every device is insecure by default, right?
Anything.
Isn't that? Yeah.
It's the shared responsibility model that they do not understand.
Nothing is secure by default, to be honest.
No. It's made to work by default. So when you click, it's doing the stuff. But then when you need to place the control, it's your responsibility. And that's my part of the rant. Like people, I say always cloud equal leak, but cloud equal leak because you didn't get the shared responsibility model. You didn't get that you have accountability and responsibility. And you have even more responsibility when you take the data of someone else, or like me, and you put that in a cloud. You have the responsibility, of protecting that stuff. So I'm not going to switch that topic to the cloud stuff, but it's just a matter of, you see, we don't agree, but we agree.
We kind of agree. And also the thing is, like, the moment you are having suppliers within your cloud supply chain, and the more vendors that come in, and then the responsibility gets shared even more, accountability is still with you, and people don't understand that part. That's the biggest problem. I mean, and that applies to actually any kind of supply chain. The accountability and the risks are still owned by you. So you kind of like have to understand the risks throughout your supply chain, whether it's just software supply chain, whether it's cloud supply chain, or whatever it is. I think we're nearing. Yes, Alex.
Just want to add one thing on that about from an organization and business standpoint. If you want to hire someone, you should look for someone who is willing to be accountable, who is willing to take the responsibility over anything else, because these people will make it happen. You can have people with ton of certs, super skilled. If they don't give a damn, it will fail. So go with people who are accountable, responsible, and this is human quality that you need more than anything else. The rest they will learn. They will learn the company culture. They will learn the technical environment, but they have to care.
Yes, and I think Robert just actually said exactly what I was thinking in exactly the same way. Don't get me even started on IoT, IIoT, OT.
Connected cars? What?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I think we're
Yeah.
nearing our live session. So let's do this way. Everybody that's online today with us, just put in maybe some. It would be so fantastic to put in some challenges. Just a few words, one word, two word, three words, challenges that you've really seen or that you would like us to talk in the next episodes. Because what I said, we talked about a lot of things today, but it was not like we can talk about a lot of things all the time, and the live show is not about renting, by the way, just so that it's out there. Today we were just doing brainstorming and we just wanted to kickstart the CISO live series, and we would like to pick up one or two topics every episode that we come out, and then talk about those, and then have those in focus, and maybe talk about the recommendations and tips and all those things. So please just put, yeah, fantastic, accountability in cybersecurity, good topic. Please put in random topics that are coming in your head that you believe are both challenging or could be opportunity or whatever you like. And while you're thinking, I can just say something for our next episode. So today is 24th November. We actually want to do this live show every other Wednesday, but because of some pre-commitments that we have, we cannot do it the second Wednesday from today. So what we're doing is, instead, on 15th of December, we will be doing, yeah, on 15th December we'll be doing a Christmas special. Before we then, both Alex and I, go on holidays. We'll be obviously away the last 2 weeks of December, and we will also not be back before, what, 16th of January, Alex, whenever
Yeah,
the third
something like
episode.
that. And I
But
like
we'll
when you
put it
say that.
out there.
Yeah, I like when you
Yeah.
say that we go together in vacation. So I don't know where we go, but it's gonna be like Hawaii or something
No,
like that.
no,
No?
I'm
Ah,
I'm going to be here with my boyfriend.
oh,
I'm
I
not
see.
traveling
I was
anywhere.
already, I was looking for free tickets or something like that. But okay, I missed that
Oh,
shot. Ah, crap.
COVID, COVID. I'm in Europe. We have to be responsible. No, I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
traveling
I'm in
anywhere.
Canada. Canada, there is nobody.
Yeah,
Oops.
right. Yeah, that's true. You can just get lost in the wilderness. But
Yeah,
so we will be having Christmas special on 15th of December.
yeah,
And we're planning that, so we'll come out with information on that. And then from January we will do this live series every other Wednesday on this channel, Monica Talk Cyber. Just subscribe and share it with your friends, your colleagues, your network, because then when we put out the episodes, and then I'm also going to be putting out some more videos. So I have the podcast show that will be coming out on this channel. I will have some more videos, my personal videos, that will be coming out as well, so that then you guys get notified and then you can watch them whenever you wish. So let's see any other topics that we have for the next conversations. But it was lovely, everybody who joined here today. Thank you so much for being a part of this premiere launch live series. To be very honest, I was actually kind of nervous. I've never done like a this whole self-organized live series. So I kind of was a
scary.
little bit nervous. Yeah, I just have to admit it, all authenticity there. And
Yeah,
that's what I said. The one of the things you will get from us is absolute honesty and authenticity. That we can definitely give you.
yeah.
Fantastic. Importance of
Zero,
supply chain. That looks amazing.
zero BS as
Uh,
usual.
Civil Cyber Fraud Initiative. Fantastic. Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who joined today. We really appreciate it. And please share this. We would really love if you can spread the
Yeah,
word on this. And we
we
would
will.
love to come back and
We will share the link of the video, when once it's recorded. So if people didn't have to see it, and they can actually rewatch it, reshare it, and if they want to bring questions, if you can either comment on the YouTube stuff or send us messages or whatever you want to see in the show. So we will try to address that. Again, we're happy to share real life stuff that we see from our experience. We work in that field, so we can tell you what's happening from inside. So just take that opportunity if you want. It's not the absolute truth. It's just what we see, and then you can compare. I mean, you can share your stuff. If you are a CISO, you go through something else, share it, and we will be able. We'll be happy to share about that. It's going to be super cool to know what's
nothing is
happening on your side.
absolute in this world.
Yeah,
There is nothing absolute. Everything is relative.
everything is relative. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Schrödinger
Fantastic.
cat.
I think we're seeing really great topics. Importance of supply chain. We have cyber fraud, cloud and confidentiality, integrity and availability. Fantastic topic. Gatekeeping, absolutely. Hiring, by the way, we will definitely talk about that. Character of technical skills. certifications. Yes, we will talk about that as well. How do we migrate from legacy on-premise infrastructure to cloud native? Amazing, Craig. Thank you so much for the topic. I love talking about cloud migrations and secure cloud migrations. Amazing. By the way, I wrote a whole blog on how you can migrate to cloud. What does a cloud migration strategy look like? What aspects you need to think about. And obviously, this cloud migration is not one person's responsibility. So just check out that blog. It's on my website, Monica Talk Cyber. And we will still talk about it, by the way. And I wrote actually that blog with Mark Nunnicolvin, who is one of these cloud experts and geniuses in the industry. So I really hope you guys love it. And if you have some, it could be also a great opportunity if you read the blog and if you have some questions. And when we take the topic up in one of the upcoming episodes, bring it up. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Smart cities, ports and airports, PKI. Yes. Alex,
Oh
you were
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, and we will never forget privacy and all of that, because smart city, connected safe data collection, telemetry, it's becoming a big side on privacy. And while Monica has a great stuff on cloud migration, for people that are like really paranoid like me, I write stuff about Proxmox and on-prem servers, etc. For people who really like to handle dead hard drive and migration and stuff because you have nothing else to do in your life. That's something I can do as well. But just just my little stuff.
No, of course. That's
Yeah.
There are so many organizations. I mean, come on. This whole hack that
Yes.
happened with Microsoft Exchange servers happened because a lot of people were not on cloud. A lot of people are
Yeah,
still
yeah,
using on-premise.
yeah.
So it's
They
actually
didn't.
valid.
Yeah, they didn't patch and all. No, but this is right. We have to adjust the reality of the business needs. It has to match the stuff. And right now, real stuff, when I speak to business and organization and they need to host an app and database and live update and stuff, there is no option than cloud. Because also they don't find people who want to be accountable or want to take all the responsibility of that. You don't find these people anymore. So you have no choice but migrate. But I like, to keep my little stuff under control. And for the really paranoid guy like that,
Absolutely no connection, no hacking, right? As you say.
That's
Connection
right.
hacked, not connected,
Exactly.
not hacked.
Yes.
Logging
Yeah.
for security developers. Yeah, correct. Hybrid cloud. How to get executives on board with security, where it may add more steps for the end user during the course of their workload. Very good topic. Very good topic.
Yes.
Security versus usability. How do we get the balance? Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Lovely. Any more topics?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, drop them, send them to Monica, to myself, and we will merge that and we'll cover these. I had the feeling that we are not done with quantitative and qualitative risk analysis to speak to the board, and that's going to be cool because I really like this kind of stuff. All right, people,
Absolutely.
I think it's time to wrap up.
Yes, it is. So we will see you on 15th of December, Wednesday, 12 p.m. ET, 6 p.m. CET, for Christmas special on Monica Talk Cyber. We'll continue with the discussions, and then we'll continue every other Wednesday from January. Thank you so much for all the comments today. We love you guys. We love our community. And this was absolutely fantastic. So we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.